And so if you don't understand the power of Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, that they have exclusive legislative authority in all cases whatsoever, then you may not quite understand, as the 14th Amendment says, is a citizen subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And so the idea of that is, that's the concept they don't get. And a lot of federal law is written about U.S. citizens. And when they use the geographical location of the United States, those laws govern the District of Columbia. And so we may be thinking America when the laws are saying the District of Columbia.
You know that there are two types of citizens in the United States. One has an income tax liability and the other does not. So, and I'll talk about that in the talk at the exit lounge. You may not realize that when you're filling out forms and you're answering questions, you may be agreeing to things that you really don't want to agree to. And that's the way we've helped Americans worldwide eliminate their income tax liability, because we fill out paperwork proper. None of our clients are having trouble with IRS. It's very easy to deal with IRS. Usually the difficulty you'll have is with the party that you may be working with. They think they're in the federal zone, and so they're being motivated by fear and ignorance, okay? And so we help you learn how to navigate that space, how to have proper paperwork, so that you can keep all of your living, 100% of your labor. And if you don't have a federal income tax liability, you wouldn't have a state income tax liability either. We're wrapping up here, and we got about 7 minutes. So if you have any questions, this is just an overview of the Declaration of Independence.
Well, it's a beautiful presentation, and I just want to comment first that the Declaration of Independence, I mean, I've been through my whole life of, brainwashing public schools. We never studied the document in the detail that you presented it this morning.
It's beautiful.
But it's very empowering. It's very morally... So my next question is more personal. I'm a New Yorker, but I live in Canada.
So you were born in New York?
I'm born in New York.
And you live in Canada now?
I live in Canada, generate all my income there. And, I file and pay taxes in Canada. Taxes are very oppressive, as you probably know. I'm required to file IRS. I'm required to declare my bank accounts. I'll do no such thing. So my question is, do you deal with these type of clients?
Oh yeah, all over the world. A U.S. citizen, that's a 14th Amendment citizen, has a tax liability all over the world. You're supposed to file and declare the money that you make in Canada as a U.S. federal citizen. But maybe you're not a U.S. federal citizen. If you could see from the tax code that the word United States is the District of Columbia, and you don't live or work, or maybe you don't want to be a citizen of the District of Columbia. Maybe you want to be a citizen of that last place. Where was the last place you had a driver's license from in the States? Was it New York?
Florida.
Florida? So you still are a Florida state citizen. Okay, that's the last place that you have your habitation domicile. Because listen, that's where you have representation in Congress. That's where you would vote. That last place you would vote would be there. That's where you would be on a jury. Now you're residing in Canada, but your habitation domicile is still Florida, because you haven't separated that. That's just still sitting there. Courts determine habitation domicile as that place you intend to return to. It doesn't say when, because people join the military for 35 years. That place they left is exactly where they go back. That's their last habitation domicile. Residency is transient. So there are Americans all over the world. They still have representation in the Congress at that last place that they've been. And so that's what we do. But I would change your status so that you don't have to deal with the federal government. And when Canada wants to tax you on some level, they have treaties with the U.S., and so they tax also federal citizens sometimes.
Vronsky, I didn't know anything about him until about a year ago, I think, maybe a bit more, when a number of people in the Vigilante Insiders Club were all talking about this guy and his organization and how they've been doing it. They lived in the U.S. and they were like, yeah, I've gone through the process with them and I just don't have to pay taxes now in the U.S. It's actually, he'll explain it all. But as a person who wants to be very careful recommending anything to anybody, and you hear a lot about, a lot of people have schemes and stuff to avoid taxes and stuff like that. I just wanted to be careful, so I asked in the Vigilante Insiders Club, and numerous people had already done it. They were very happy with it. Then I got to meet Christopher last year at Acapulco. He told me all about how long he's been doing it. And I said, well, that sounds pretty good. And the way that he explained to me what he does all sounds totally correct in my opinion. So we invited him to come speak at Acapulco this year, and because he's here, Get them at the Dollar Vigilante. So it's Christopher Gronsky from Destination Freedom.
Well, thanks so much for giving me this opportunity, Jeff. I'm glad to be here. Just want to let you know that I have good news. So it's, there's a lot of, in the apocalypse, this is the good part. So it is available for you to keep all of your wealth. But you have some choices to make, and there's some unknown choices that you might not know. Now, this process that we've done or that we do, is for Americans worldwide, and we've helped clients all over the world, and I'll talk a little bit about that.
The Constitution gives the federal government the power to do exactly what it's doing. Pretty much everything, okay? So generally speaking, okay, it's sad to say this, they're pretty much upholding the Constitution, okay? And when I say that, I'm saying what most people don't get is they're upholding the Constitution in their jurisdiction. And so if you don't understand the power of Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, that they have exclusive legislative authority in all cases whatsoever, then you may not quite understand how federal jurisdiction is touching you. And of course, we recognize these things, that jurisdiction is the District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, America, Samoa. But what many times people don't realize is the 14th Amendment citizen, as the 14th Amendment says, is a citizen subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And so the idea of that is, that's the concept they don't get. And a lot of federal law is written about U.S. citizens. And when they use the geographical location of the United States, those laws govern the District of Columbia. And so we may be thinking America when the laws are saying the District of Columbia. Now, one of the ways that the District of Columbia arrives in the states, and listen, this is when you read Clause 17 and 18 of the Constitution of Article 1, Section 8, you'll see also that they're coming into the states by the agreements of the state. And if the state is inviting the feds to come in with their regulation or code or whatever, or even with their money, then that's another way their jurisdiction is coming in, because the law is going to govern when you're receiving these federal funds, you're agreeing to this federal statute, code, or whatever it is. And they may have funds for U.S. citizens without disclosing exactly what those U.S. citizens or who those U.S. citizens are. This is the reality of it. So that's why I'm saying federal gun laws, food, drugs, all that stuff governs federal citizens worldwide and the District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, America, Samoa. So that's what we're talking about. So when I say one of the foundational things, when I'm talking to new clients and all, and they say, I've been studying this for 20 years and I'm really good at this, I just ask them a question is, well, do you believe the income tax is unconstitutional? Well, absolutely. I'm like, well, then you don't understand federal jurisdiction. You can have been studying it all along and that hasn't occurred to you about federal jurisdiction. One of the best writings that you can read, one of the best writers on the subject of state citizenship and federal jurisdiction is Paul Mitchell's The Federal Zone. You can just look it up, The Federal Zone. Excellent read. A lot of 26 appendices of this, however many pages document it is. It's the best on the subject matter. Okay.